Next topic is debugging techniques. We will be seeing three different debugging techniques in this section. Debugging is a complex and tedious task, and it is very difficult to debug and fix an error. The individuals involved in the debugging should understand all the causes of an error. So in order to analyze and identify the error, certain techniques are used. First one is debugging with memory dump. In this technique, a printout of all registers and relevant memory locations is obtained and analyzed. So the storage locations which are used in the program, those locations are dumped to a file, and that file is analyzed carefully to find the exception. But this is a very tedious job as the massive amount of data will be there, and we need to find out what is the relevant data of that program which is required to identify and analyze this problem. Next technique is debugging with watch points. Sometimes the final output of the program is not sufficient enough to understand what would have caused that error. Hence, we set watch points at intermediate locations to see the value of the variables, and we can verify the values at that points. For example, we can see the value of a particular variable before making the function call, or we can see the value of a variable before entering a loop. So in those points we can see the values and know that okay, the program is correct up to this point, or then might be it causing an error inside the loop, or it might be causing an error in another function. So we will be able to isolate where the error is happening. So these points are called watch points. So we'll see three methods with the watch points. First one is output statements. This is a common method used. We will insert output statements at various points to print the value of the variable. So in the output log we will be able to see the value. So we can say like a loop counter. As part of every execution of the loop, we can print the value of the loop counter to see like how many times the counter is getting incremented, like that. So this output statements may give some clue regarding what could have caused the error, and we will be able to find that bug. In this method, the program is modified to include the output statements, and we need to compile and run it. So every time if we need to debug for an error, we need to make a program change to insert these statements and then execute them. Then once the error is fixed, we need to remove those output statements from the program. Next method is breakpoint execution. This method is used with an automated debugger program. Breakpoint is a watch point inserted at various places in the program. So we can insert multiple breakpoints in a program. So in this method, the program is executed up to the breakpoint inserted. Then the program temporarily stops, and it allows the programmer to see the value of the variables or various conditions in that program, and we'll be able to check and verify the values there. If he is satisfied with the values, he can continue to the execution up to the next breakpoint. So in this way he can insert multiple breakpoints to make sure that so these points the program is executing successfully up to these points, and he'll be able to pinpoint where it would have caused the issue. So in this method, there is no code change is required to set the breakpoint because this is done using the debugger program. Breakpoints can be categorized as unconditional breakpoint, which is like a simple breakpoint without any condition to be evaluated. Next is conditional breakpoint. In this one, get activated only when that expression is evaluated true. Third is temporary breakpoint, which is used only once in the program. And fourth one is internal breakpoint, which is invisible to the user and is used by the debugger tool. Next method is single stepping. This is similar to breakpoint execution. But the difference is the user will be able to watch the execution of the program after every executable instruction. That means the instruction execution get interrupted at each and every step, and the user can watch the condition or the status of the variable after each statement. Single stepping is implemented with the help of internal breakpoints. Once the error is analyzed and identified and a solution is obtained, then we need to make changes in the code. This is the second phase of the debugging program, and this is the very important step because the new code added or the fix we applied to the program should not introduce new errors in it. So we need to be very careful making changes in the program, and it should not affect the functionality of the program. So the design should not be affected by correcting the bug. Also, we need to evaluate the coupling of the logic between two modules. If two modules are highly coupled, then that correction may introduce other bugs. Highly coupled means if two functions are transferring a lot of data, or the number of parameters are too high, or it is written very specific to that requirement. So all these scenarios increase the cohesion and make it difficult to correct the bugs. Next is we need to plan the regression test to make sure that the correction is not introducing or affecting any other modules. So we need to plan for the regression test and we need to perform the regression test. So we need to identify which all modules are affected by correcting this error. Also, we need to execute the minimum number of test cases to ensure that the functionality of the application is not affected. Next topic is debugging tools. In order to speed up the process of debugging, we can take the help of debugging tools. So debugger is a tool to help track down, isolate and remove bugs from the software program. So it helps the individual who is performing the debugging in certain ways, like what we have discussed in the breakpoints. Tools allow the programmer to follow the flow of program execution, and it allows the programmer to inspect the variables or conditions or the state of the program in order to verify its correctness, and thus he will be able to understand the program so as to find and fix the bugs. Also, these debugger programs will help the programmer to get access to the or it able to control the program under test. Now we will see different types of debuggers. First one is kernel debugger. It is mostly used to debug the problems with the operating system kernel. or the interactions with the application which is heavily depend on the operating systems like device drivers or something like that. Second one is basic machine level debugger. It is used for debugging the actual running code as they are processed by the CPU. Third one is in-circuit emulator. This in-circuit emulator sits between the operating system and the hardware and can watch and monitor all the processes and interactions between the applications and operating system. So we will be able to see the values or the interactions between the applications and the system, and we can see and trace the values and see like where the issues are happening. Fourth one is interpretive programming environment debugger. This type of debugger is integrated into the runtime interpreter and it has very tight control over the running applications. We'll be able to step through the program statement by statement and we will be able to analyze and inspect the value of the variables and conditions, and thus we will be able to identify the issues. This summarizes various debugging techniques and debugging tools used in the debugging process. In this tutorial we have learned about debugging, steps in debugging process, different debugging techniques. We have learned about correcting the bugs, debugger and different types of debugging tools. To conclude, debugging requires a lot of knowledge, skills and expertise. It can be supported by some automated tools, but it is more of a manual process since every defect or bug is different and requires a different technique to analyze it and fix it.